The Square Ball Podcast.
Levi Solicitors bring you Propaganda, the show where we find out what's been said about Leeds United by home fans, by away fans, Leeds fans, opposition fans, all the fans in the wider world of propaganda. In this part of the show, we will get the feedback from the Norwich side. And it's all a little bit sad, isn't it, Michael?
I mean, Norwich fans are nice, aren't they? That's the thing. You never hear of Norwich fans causing bother, do you? And that kind of...
Well, they need to stop protesting against the Glazers, that's what I think. Green and gold until they're sold, etc.
But yeah, I mean, they're kind of, even when they're winning, they're quite nice with it, aren't they? Like, they wouldn't really get in your face. And now they're losing. They're just really sad about it.
You can't imagine them attacking scarfers on the way back to the station, that kind of thing, can you?
No, and if things are, like, they are going down the season, aren't they? But no one's going to run on the pitch and throw season tickets in anyone's face or like chuck a cabbage at the manager or anything like that. So
if the manager had a cabbage thrown at him at Norwich, how do you think he'd react?
If life gives you cabbages, make cabbage soup.
Very good.
Maybe.
Surely it's
the German one.
Yes.
Which none of us can remember. Sauerkraut.
There we go.
Yes.
Do it again. Run the tape again. I mean, it must have been an error on the recording.
If it gives you cabbages, make sauerkraut.
Hey,
that's what he would have.
He would have said that. Yeah.
Obviously would have.
Right. So what have we got then? Just sadness mainly from Norwich.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the Kubler-Ross grief cycle, and which you kind of go through anger and
five, six, seven stages.
Five stages of it. Yeah, so you kind of start with anger, and towards the end you get depression and then acceptance, and they're definitely in the final stages of this. Even though they're 10 games into the season, they're kind of going, yeah,
it's over, isn't it?
Yeah, this is not really worth doing, is it? First of all, we're going to hear from Michael Bailey, who Leeds fans might remember. Yes, accused Leeds of trying to sonically interfere with Norwich's players.
It made out like it was what was the camp called where they interred all the prisoners
like at Guantanamo Bay or something.
Pumping out white noise and disturbing noise to try and throw people off. And
it was in the promotion campaign that there was Norwich attacking, and our PA just did what it always does, to start making a load of noise, and he was convinced that it was a pre-planned attempt to put Norwich off, which
somebody sat in the stand with a finger on a button ready when Norwich were going forward.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Anyway, he works for the Athletic now, who are a great bunch of lads, we should say.
Yes.
Failed upwards, hasn't he?
But yes, they do say you can judge a man by the company he keeps.
Yeah.
And this is who he's sitting with.
I mean, it was a fascinating game to watch, especially sat next to my colleague Phil Hay at the Athletic, who covers Leeds, obviously, which is lovely to see Phil.
Sick bastard.
We see him every week, don't we? It's not that thrilling.
It's awful. It's awful having to sit with him every week. I mean, he's wrong about it being a fascinating game as well. It was pretty bad.
It depends what your standards are, doesn't it? I mean, if you're Norwich and you're absolutely abysmal, that's the closest they've come to remotely putting a glove on someone, and they were still terrible. So,
yeah, fair enough. He didn't think we were very good either, though.
No, did he not? Who cares?
Norwich went into this game thinking it was a wonderful chance to really get this first goal. A lot had been said during the week, and this first win. A lot had been said during the week, but the sentiment was the same for Leeds, who were difficult. And actually, I was kind of really disappointed with Leeds. I thought, as I said, Rafinha stood out as their sharpest tool in the box, really, by a distance. That would be a worry for them, I would say, because part of the frustration with Norwich today is that Leeds side looked as poor as any team they've really faced this year. I thought Watford probably looked better, to be honest, on today's evidence, which is maybe not a fair judge. Obviously, I'm only looking after over 90 minutes, but Leeds will need to improve a lot, which kind of brings me down to the main point of this video, which is that, Norwich aren't good enough, are they?
Nope. No, they are not.
We've got some white noise we can listen to instead.
We could.
Make about as much sense.
I mean, I think he slipped up there and said the goal that they were looking forward to. I think he meant win, but actually, yes, they have scored 3 goals this season.
And I think we know that. We spoke about on the match ball about Rafinha being our sort of game changer, but let's not forget we are freshly up, and we have Rafinha, and he is a game changer. But we also have other very, very class players who maybe didn't show their class as much.
Rodrigo scored the winner.
Well, exactly. And Phillips is there, and whilst he wasn't on his full game at the weekend, he still
set it up.
Bloody good. The other point is, we came up and finished 9th. Compare that to where they are, and we've had a bit of early season struggle. I don't think you want to be dishing out lessons in how to stay up, do you, really, as a Norwich fan? Anyway.
But he does then go on to just explain how fully knackered they are.
Which is nice.
Which is funny.
I could sit here for the next 2 minutes and tell you all the wonderful ways that Daniel Farke could build on some of the promising signs or work through the coaching to make Norwich better. But we're 10 games in. They've got 2 points, 3 goals. 3 goals now. And you do wonder to what end that is when Norwich are just incapable of developing whilst picking up the positive results that keep them in the picture. Because to be brutally honest, I've heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, they're not cut adrift. They're not cut adrift." They look cut adrift.
They are
tonight. There is a big gap between the teams that are battling for survival and Norwich.
I mean, you can hear in that little nervous laugh at the end, he's searching so desperately just for something, anything, and there's nothing, is there? There's nothing there.
It's been a while since we heard Ken Bates' length pauses. Yeah, he is just going, well, maybe but some people are saying maybe we're not cut adrift, but
you
2
are.
points. 2 points.
It's kind of
10 games, 2 points.
Looking great. I mean, they are in with a decent chance of breaking the record, which is nice. Something to aim for, isn't it?
Norris McWhirter will be proud of them.
Yeah, get in the record books. Do it. Right, on to the Pinken, which is that their paper down there that does sport?
I think so, yeah. He was just praising the Leeds fans, more or less.
Good.
In the absence of anything else to talk about.
Great, aren't we?
I wouldn't have said it was a rip-roaring atmosphere. I think the Barclay and the Snake Pit made their general effort. I don't think the rest of the stadium really did. I don't think there was a big reaction to what Stuart Webber had said in the week. The sort of questioning and the criticism of the fans almost trying to get a reaction. I think there were obviously moments and the goal and things like that, but I don't think there was a huge atmosphere. It was certainly the Leeds fans who were louder the majority of the time, as they usually are. They're pretty vociferous, aren't they, in their celebrations at the end. They were gleefully saying that's why you're going down and all that sort of stuff.
Well, there's just the little bits of needle towards each other, sporting director and the fans, and they're all just challenging each other to rise up. None of them are doing it, are they? Samba de Janeiro was the song that we couldn't quite find the name of for their goal music, wasn't it?
It also sounded like someone was throwing plastic bottles at him as he was speaking. Then you could just hear them clattering around him.
It was feeding time in the Snake Pit.
Well,
yeah,
that sounds scary, doesn't it?
I mean, that must be the way it looks or something, rather than actually the fact it's full of Gary Monks.
I mean, they're not natural allies, the snake and the canary. You wouldn't think putting those two together. I believe,
have you ever put a snake down a coal mine?
I think it's because you remember they used to have Robert Chase as their chairman, and there was all kinds of problems. So when they were protesting about him,
Chase out, I remember that.
Somebody apparently wrote to the local paper saying that the fans were like a bunch of snakes, Norwich fans, and it stuck. And now, the immediate way that you sort of take the fun out of a fan-led protest and self-styled Snake Pit is they formalised it, so it's the Carrow Road Snake Pit. I think it's one of the corners. But yeah,
terrifying.
Yes.
Ooh.
I mean, he does. I mean, I kind of agreed with him the first time round, saying Norwich are shit, Leeds are great, which I think is the summary of what he said. But this second thing he says is very, very controversial.
Nobody wants to hear it, and how do they? Nobody wants to hear what Daniel Farke's got to say.
Ooh, I mean, we do. Many times over.
You have broken my heart.
It is a bit harsh. I mean, what was their points total in the Championship last year?
97.
Yeah, I mean, that's not bad, is it? They did okay with him, and he brought them up the season before that as well, didn't he? So he's done quite well for them, and they should be grateful. And the least that they can do is listen to him
talk bollocks.
Bollocks, yeah.
Things are never going to get any better, so just stick with him. Stick with him in this loveless marriage.
It is weird, because normally a team that goes down as badly as Norwich did last time, they do normally struggle, like Sheffield United have done it, and normally if you get absolutely spanked every single week, that does carry over, but they just completely started afresh and got on with it and strolled out of the Championship again, whereas we were in there for years making it look incredibly difficult. They do seem to... Farke does know his way out of there, so maybe we can get him next season.
They seem to be more worried about us than themselves, though. Norwich talk.
I would also be kind of worried if I was a Leeds fan.
Yeah, they were.
But like at the same time, they weren't, were they? And that's what makes today hurt. But they're kind of... I think they're on the back end of an injury crisis. They hadn't signed many players in the window. And
still, you look at that 11,
very good.
And the talent they have in that 11 should be performing so much better than they did. If Bielsa can get them back performing, I wouldn't be worried.
I mean, so there was a caveat there.
I mean, they start off saying that I think they're trying to talk us into a relegation battle with them, and then by the end they're like, oh no, Leeds will be fine probably. We're just going to be by ourselves down at the bottom. But then this is where just the sheer desperation and sadness kicks in for them.
And they're right, about this saying Leeds fans should be worried. Let's face it, by and large, Leeds fans are a bit worried because we're not where we want to be. However, it's always nice to remind yourself that there are other folks much worse off than you, and these are those folks.
At the moment, there's nothing. It's not like I can sit here and tell you, oh yeah, we were defensively solid today. We were just unlucky up top. We need a bit more up top. There's nothing to cling on to at all.
The walls of the snake pit.
Need to get Darren Huckabee in and play the kids, don't they?
Huckabee piped up actually on Twitter over the weekend, referring to Norwich as we and Leeds as Leeds.
In fairness, he did do better for Norwich than us.
Yeah.
I mean...
Did he, though?
Yeah. I don't think any Leeds fans would be welcoming him as a returning hero, would they?
No, you'd be happy to see him back because he's fine. But...
It'd be a flying visit because he wouldn't know when to stop, would he? He'd just run straight through and off into the distance like Forrest. Forrest Gump, that is, not Nottingham. Right, what else have we got from Norwich talk?
He's trying to work out where it's going wrong, and he starts with the midfield, and then the problem quickly spreads.
Attack, is it?
There was nothing in midfield. There was no plan in midfield. Kenny McLean, I thought, was really, really poor today. Norman was okay. Norman, when you're scraping the barrel, was good, but he has nothing. There's nothing in front of him, nor really behind him.
They've got one player. There was one player who was all right.
If you're scraping the barrel,
with nothing around him.
Jesus,
didn't they? They're kind of the opposite to us. That they bought like 10 players with the Buendia money, and to be describing themselves as scraping the barrel when it comes to the players that they've got, I think they should count themselves lucky to have players of the quality of. They've had Ken McLean for a while, actually, by the looks of things. Yeah, if only we had a Ken McLean or a
Norman
with two ends to make everything better.
Norman does normally have two ends, one at the start, one at the end.
Or he's got 3 then, hasn't he?
Fair enough.
Just 2 where you wouldn't expect them.
Fusion Josh, it's a clip that did the rounds on Twitter.
He's new.
Over the weekend, wasn't it? He's a neutral fan. He's some sort of London-based fan, is he?
He just does...
Norman.
All right.
He's on loan from Rostov.
Okay.
Fair enough. Yeah, Fusion Josh, he just goes to league games anywhere in the world, essentially, and
makes videos of them.
This was his summary of things. Yeah, you'll have heard him talking about the Rafa goal and kind of talking through that, which we've got in a minute. But this is him talking about the game at half time.
Half time 0-0, and I think that was the most boring half of football I think I've ever watched in my life. Right, teams are out for the second half. They can't be much worse than that, surely. If the second half's as bad as that first half, then I think I've just watched the worst game of my life.
It's these kids in it, Gen Z, no attention span.
It's not. I mean,
they want 15 goals in FIFA. That's what they want.
If anyone's got videos of the Neil Warnock era at Leeds United, they could probably show him something worse. But I can see from a neutral point of view, there was not a lot to.
Well, he should keep his nose out then, shouldn't he? It's not to do with him.
Well, he's made it about him.
Sorry if he was bored, but just don't go.
It's a fair point. Let's hear the Rafa goal then, shall we?
Here goes Rafinha. Shoot, he's got to shoot, What a goal. What a goal. That's a great goal, that. Rafinha, that's what he does. That's what he does best. And that is 1-0 Leeds. I'll tell you what, that was absolute limbs in there too. Limbs in there. That was the first time I think I've actually seen Leeds limbs in real life, so fair play. Great fans.
They don't get out much, do they?
I mean, the best part of that is hearing the crowd cheering and then hearing the crowd singing. So if Josh
just shut up,
isn't enjoying himself, maybe the best thing he could do is just buy the ticket, go in, put the tape recorder on the seat, and then go shopping. Come back and pick it up later, and then just upload it to YouTube.
He did seem very impressed by our fans, and he was, during the process of filming this, he is focusing on our fans who are kind of at the opposite corner of the ground, but it does look good.
Yeah, it does. I think I forget.
Well, I'm glad we've got Josh's validation now.
I think we do forget sometimes just how anomalous our fans are, because we still sing and create an atmosphere. You know, it seems to have died out largely as the Premier League has become more...
Because everybody's neutral, gone in with a phone to just film the Leeds fans and talk over them.
I mean, there is a handy contrast, which I've not included because you need to really see it to understand it, but it's when the Norwich goal is scored, him going, "Oh, it's mad in here," and he just pans around and you can just see people applauding, and kind of there's a little bit of people rubbing each other's shoulders and that sort of stuff going on.
There's a fire alarm going off in the background as well as we record this. Great. So we're not on fire, we should stress.
We don't know yet, do we? But yeah, there is then the nice contrast with the Norwich fans, and they've got the goal music going, and it just looks shit. Admittedly, I think it's kind of the West Standy bit of Norwich by the looks of it. It looks like a bit of an older crowd.
Where does the shoulder rubbing come in?
Well, people just like the person next to him, like, that was good, wasn't it?
It's like a Head and Shoulders advert.
Like a little arm around the shoulder, like, yes.
It's no snake pit where they're doing high fives, is it? Hey, steady lads. Right, let's hear the Rodrigo goal.
Oh no, Tim Krul. Oh no, Tim Krul, what a mistake. It slipped under him. Oh my days. Oh, absolute carnage in there. Oh, it's absolute carnage. There's a flan. Oh no. Tim Krul, mate. You've had an absolute mare.
Painting pictures with words.
Did he say there was a flan?
It sounded like a flan, yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like a quiche to me. But
there was carnage, and then there was a flan, and then he just sounded absolutely distraught by what he was saying.
Did he mean flair?
Seeing.
Did he mean flair?
I don't know what he meant. He was definitely looking at the Leeds fans at that point. I mean,
did he mean a custard?
He sounded actually concerned, didn't he? He was like, "Oh no."
Oh no!
Oh
flan.
no! Oh no! Oh dear! It's carnage. As if he's
It's not one of Delia's recipes.
Commentating on a car crash.
I'm glad we established it was Tim Krul in goal for Norwich. Anyway, I'd been wondering.
Bless him. Leave him to his content creation. He's having a nice time doing it, and if he's putting money into the coffers of Norwich City and getting to witness
how does that help me?
Then he's having a nice time. Let him be.
Well, in truth, it was kind of slim pickings with Norwich Norwich content. So thank you for doing it, Josh, because at least you weren't just reasonable and sad like everyone else who we had to listen to. I wanted someone like pissed off about Rafinha or something, but everyone was just like, "Oh, he's good, isn't he?"
Yeah, I mean, he is.
I wish we had some good players. Wish we had some hope.
Good. And we should mention with Rafinha, it went through three people's legs, did that goal, didn't it?
It did indeed.
Which is hilarious. Right, then, we've got this clip.
We'll end with Rafinha then. It's just a bit of South American commentary on our goals. This is when I was actually just searching YouTube for sad Norwich fans, looking for Leeds Norwich, and I came across this, and I just quite liked it.
Viene Rafinha, enganchi Pele, Rafinha, gol.
Gol.
Equipo de todo nada por todas partes. Centro, ahí está. ¡Gol de Rodrigo! ¡Gol! De Rodrigo Moreno.
It certainly evokes the same emotions as Josh, doesn't it? That bless him.
I mean, it was too much excitement for the standard of game, truth be told.
Yeah. That he's overcompensated, I feel, there.
I mean, does that guy do like Papa John's trophy and stuff as well? Is he reacting to a Tranmere consolation goal or whatever in the same way as that? I'm not sure. But it was a bit of joy anyway, which was missing from Norwich.
Well, we'll see what the opposition fans have to say after Sunday's game with Leicester. Into the wider world of propaganda now then.
Johnny United, he's back.
You said you made a little confession to me, didn't you, in the kitchen before we started recording today, that he's growing on you.
Well, I quite like him. I think what I like about him is that he's got a complete disdain for all Man United fans. He hates them, which I think is something we can get on board with. And he's really pissed off at the level of their support. He kind of hates the fact that people are just backing Solskjaer and the Glazers and stuff. And, you know, fair play to him. And he's been copping a load of flack this week because ahead of the Spurs game, he was saying that he wanted them to lose because then it would mean Solskjaer would be sacked. Obviously, we know now they didn't.
Solskjaer is a manager eater, we now know.
Which is kind of funny because I also do want to hear more from Johnny. And if Solskjaer goes, we're not going to, are we? So we need to keep him in post for as long as we can.
Yeah, and for anybody who's new to this as well, Johnny United is a lad. He's from Bradford, isn't he? Man United fan. And he first came to our attention, obviously, around the Man United games like last year, where he tends to go on a very quick sort of machine gun style rant, and then without even pausing for breath, at the end he'll go, all right guys, thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. His delivery is brilliant. Right, let's hear him on this one then.
We're all Spurs Saturday. It's a shameful thing to say, it's not a good thing to say, but I don't see any other way of getting this fucking manager out of this football club. But look, yeah, I want to lose on Saturday. I'll take a couple of fucking losses to fucking lose. That's what I'll do. I don't care. I'll take it. A little bit of pain for long-term gain. I'm signing me up straight away. Well, you can't take a loss. It's going to hurt you that much. Yeah, it'll hurt on the day. But what hurts more of this fucking yo-yo cycle that we're on under Ole. Win a couple, lose, draw, win a couple, same fucking shit, lose a final, lose a semi-final, play shit football. Is that what you want to do? Because I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. And I'm sure a lot of you are too, but you just won't say it. I will lose. I'll make, sometimes in life, right, the difficult decisions aren't the most popular ones. They're not the most popular ones, but they're the right thing. And that's a difficult thing to do, but I'll take losing to get him out, because I don't know any way of getting this man out, because the Glazers are ambitious. The Glazers don't care. They've done this to us. They've kept him in a job. They're the real enemy. Ollie really is just a fucking scapegoat. But unfortunately, we can't get the Glazers out, because there isn't the appetite for the protest, for sustained protests. There isn't, it's just not there. So we're left with, well, like, what else are we supposed to do? So, unfortunately, we're stuck with Ollie. He's the easiest problem to get out of the club. So I'll take losing. I don't like it. I don't want to lose, but I'll take it to get him out. I hope we lose to Spurs. I hope we lose to City. And that should be the final nail in the fucking coffin to get Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out and bring his reign to a fucking end. Because I've had enough of it. And a lot of you have too. Stop lying to yourselves. He's no good. He's to fucking get out of the club. End of discussion. Ole out.
What do you think he's getting at?
Stop lying to yourselves.
I don't really know what he is getting at, because he doesn't have, like, unless he sabotages the games. Is he saying that sometimes the right decisions are the unpopular ones? So I've decided to lose, and they won. He can't do anything about this, even if he decides to lose, but the players win. I hope he's all right.
But I mean, they did win, didn't they? Which is, on reflection, quite
funny. Yeah, and this is the thing,
perfect,
because they are in that sweet spot, aren't they? Where he just always does just enough to stay in the job, and you know that he's not the right man for it, and it's hilarious.
If they could scrape a point up against Man City, that might be even better.
I mean, well, I'd take a scum win. I know sometimes the right decisions are not the popular ones, but I'd take a scum win in that, just because that would really give the mirage to Solskjaer being good for them. Yeah. And I think it would keep him there. 3 more months. I think it keeps him there till January, and then if they give him a transfer budget and they get some like 6 more Van der Beeks through the door, wonderful.
But it did see the end of Nuno, which is a shame of sorts.
Wasn't really doing anything, was he? Just standing watching. I don't think he likes it.
He knew he was going to be sacked soon. Well, given he was about their 8th choice or something for the job, and they were like,
the most reluctant managerial appointment ever. He looked like he needed a bloody good holiday after Wolves, didn't he? Never mind going to Spurs.
And the other good thing about it is it means that the only good available manager is now at Tottenham, so we can't go to Scum. So, you know, you're going to sack Solskjaer if Conte's at Spurs.
Put Nuno in at Old Trafford. That's what they need.
Well, they don't like the old negative football, do they? No. So it would be perfect.
Right. Paul Cook, this was a great clip. Loads of people sent this to us as well, so thank you if you did. He's the Ipswich manager?
He is, yes. He was the Wigan manager when they kept beating us and making us all very sad when we were trying our best to get out of the Championship.
He was always quite nice about it. I never had a problem with Paul Cook. He seemed like a sound fella, but sound seems to be the issue.
I mean, this is a clip of his post-game interview, and to make it completely clear, I've not chopped this at all. Well, chopped the ends and the start and end off it, but the transition in the middle that you'll hear is entirely as it is.
The times we give the goals away, you could not make up. You couldn't make up. You just couldn't. You know, it is what it is. You know, I've got to be careful what I say. And then after we go 2-1 behind, probably have the best spell in the game that we have, create probably 3 or 4 clear-cut chances. They have to score. And unfortunately for us, we didn't. You know, and when you give goals away, it puts pressure on you at the other end. And we're always searching to repeat that Portsmouth performance. And unfortunately today, we couldn't do it.
What's causing that? Why breathe? I'm willing him to breathe.
He's half Dyche. He's half a Scouse Dyche, isn't he? But he's when he goes halfway through, it's great.
It's been going on for years. There's it was first highlighted. There's a clip from 2017 when he was at Wigan, and his voice does exactly the same thing. And last year as well, it's kind of been bubbling along for a while. He's gone mainstream this weekend, but
he's crossed over.
Hope he's all right. Like, you should probably, you know, have somebody have a look at that if he's not in the. It kind of gives me some security that he must, like, between 2017 and now, he must have had somebody check that there's nothing seriously wrong with the fella's throat.
Most people just gone, you do know that's not how a person should sound. And he's gone, oh, what do you mean?
Oh, it's great value. I enjoyed that anyway. Well, does that wrap up propaganda for this week then?
I think so. Hopefully Leicester fans are a bit more interesting.
They're wild. So they got a fox pit instead of a snake pit?
Well, I mean, the snake's nothing to do with the canary, is it? So who knows? Who knows what they have?
Yeah.
An iguana hole or something. I don't know.
Sounds about right. Well, we will return with more propaganda in the wake of the Leicester game. We're going to do the main show now, the weekly show. So do check that out, YouTube and audio. And we'll thank you for watching or listening to this one. See you in a bit.
The Square Ball Podcast.